We like movies because they allow us to live a different life and to feel new emotions. But in the hands of dictators, movies can turn into a powerful weapon of propaganda, effectively spreading self-serving narratives that influence our emotions.
Какие ваши доказательства?
Lenin said that the most important kind of art is film. Under Hitler's orders, Leni Riefenstahl directed propaganda films titled Triumph of the Will and Olympia, which showed Nazism in a positive light. During Stalin's era, all cinematography consisted of propaganda portraying the happy life of the working class. Unfortunately, even in modern Russia, propagandists are increasingly using cinema to achieve their political goals. For many years, Russia has been galvanizing its citizens to hostility, sowing the seeds for future military conflicts. The film titled Russian Temper takes place in 2013 in Crimea, where the main character arrives to attend his uncle's funeral and incidentally begins to fight against neo-Nazis. As is traditional in Russian cinema, Ukrainians are portrayed as bold, aggressive, and just waiting to disparage Russians.
Что? Куда йдеш, говорю? Хорошая погода. О, дивись, москаль.
Сюди підходимо.
Additionally, the film's creators tried to depict a made-up issue of the oppression of the Russian language in Crimea, which is too ridiculous even to remark on.
А шо? Нашої мови не знаєш? Сам-то хто?
А шо? С русским языком здесь какая-то проблема?
Ну, что нужно?
The White Guard. The show The White Guard portrays the life of Russian officers during the time when Ukraine was fighting for its independence at the beginning of the 20th century. In reality, it was yet another disingenuous attempt to show Kiev was never Ukrainian. Every scene is steeped in Ukrainophobia.
У меня вопрос. На каком языке мне стенографировать? Раньше вы говорили на украинском.
На собачьем, сударыня, на собачьем.
This show is also a clear example of how the Russians were being prepared for a war with Ukraine.
Так можно и пол-Украины вырубить. Надо будет, вырубим.
Paradox Soldiers 2. The movie Paradox Soldiers 2 tells a story about two Russians and two Ukrainians traveling to the past during World War II. This film is pure Ukrainophobic propaganda, directly equating Ukrainians with Nazis. The myth of evil Ukrainians was being propagated among Russians persistently for a long time to make it clear to everyone that Ukrainians are the enemy. And of course, it couldn't be done without modern narratives.
Слышь, фашист, руку убери.
Война не началась, парни.
Crimea. The film begins with the Revolution of Dignity, where the main character saves a Berkut fighter. In reality, Berkut was the special police force that beat up university students and protesters. The Berkut member immediately explained how everything here was set up.
Давай, парень, чеши отсюда. Сегодня начали работать снайперы. У нас уже трое, все по схеме, и по нам, и по ним. Чтобы толпа окончательно озверела.
What follows is a deceitful attempt to show the reason for the annexation of Crimea, because nobody was supposed to be openly caught making a film about Putin's imperial ambitions.
Крымчане молодцы. Если мы не поможем, их сомнут.
А как мы им поможем без приказа? Ничего себе решение-то. Такие решения принимают раз в 100 лет.
The rest of the film's plot gets lost in absurd propaganda, wilder than any Hollywood fantasy. Hot Sunlight. The film Hot Sunlight is one of the newest examples of propaganda in film, which also tried to portray Ukrainians as embittered criminals. The description states that the film is based on real-life events. Everyone remembers how German NATO soldiers were fighting in Ukraine's anti-terrorist operation zone, right?
Это мой прадед. Он был на войне. Вот он на фото. Он заставил их слушать Великую Германию. Но он не успел сделать то, что хотел. Поэтому теперь это доделаю я.
The list of movies, which over the past 20 years has concocted an image of Ukrainians as neo-Nazis and criminals, cultivated prejudice towards everything Ukrainian, and prepared for Russians for a future invasion, is far from complete.